Hello and welcome everybody. It's Sunday evening here in the UK, which means it's time to round out the Misfits Racing League action here with Formula 2. Joining me as always is Alex Bitter. Alex, how are you doing today?
Hello, really good. Really excited to see, of course, again, an F2 race here on MRL, this time on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. The first time on YouTube. A big shout out to everyone who's already here. It's, first time here on YouTube live streaming. Obviously, there's plenty of race replays, highlights, track guides, that kind of thing here on the channel. But for the first time ever, we're streaming on the YouTube. It should just be F2 at the moment. All the rest of the MRL action will be staying on Twitch for the time being. But here for F2, we're going to try it out on the YouTube. So do let us know if you can hear us okay. But everything should be working fine. But we're here for F2 Silverstone. Alex, Silverstone has already provided us with a lot of good racing action here. And with the F2, it's always a little bit of a different style of action, given the slower cars. But I think it's still going to be very, very exciting.
It will be. It has a lot of points to overtake now with the F2. They're little cars compared to the F1, so you can really do more overtakes than usual. The slipstream is more powerful, but you don't have the overtake button on the reach. The fuel management. So it seems like could be equalized. So you can do a lot of overtakes here on Silverstone, and I think we will be having some fun here on this British track.
Yeah, I wonder whether, like you said, the cars are slightly smaller, so I wonder whether we'll see maybe a bit of side-by-side action through maybe Maggotts and Beckett's, that kind of corner where really in the Formula 1 cars, they're just a bit too wide, a bit too large to just take those side-by-side. Always someone has to back out or it ends poorly. But here in the Formula 2 cars, I think we might be able to get a little bit of variation in terms of overtaking spots. We sometimes see that. Let's have a quick look at the track map before we go into it. Silverstone, pretty much the birthplace of F1. 18 turns to DRS straight, and they can provide some brilliant overtaking opportunities. But also, this track really lends itself to DRS trains, and it's really evident of where everyone's pace is when you get these sort of breakaways. This morning at APAC, we had the top 7 in a train, and then the rest of the field in another. So you do get those DRS trains, and as soon as someone breaks away at the front, maybe they do an undercut, something like that. It is pretty powerful around here as well. It all just sort of shakes things up. Strategy is so important here. But we have got 20 drivers. They're all readied up. We're all ready to get racing here at Silverstone. Before that, we will have a one-shot qualifying session here in F2. We don't have 18-minute shot qualifying. It's not available to the F2 cars. So just have to go for one shot before 2 races, the feature race and the sprint race.
And we have been in a good streak of rain on qualifying and as well on race. We had rain on tier 1, we had race on tier 3, and we had race on Americas. I don't think we had an APEC or tier 2. So right now it seems like dry on this qualifying session, but we'll see if something changes for the race on today's on your home GP, right, Unicorn?
Yeah, my home GP, or my home country of Silverstone, as it's been called by myself, and that seems to have stuck. So we're just waiting for everyone to load in here, and the game will just throw us onto one of the cars for an onboard, and we'll stick with them unless they start dropping down the order suddenly. But yeah, the spotlight always shine on one person here in qualifying. We can't see everyone, but it does. The timing tower does provide a nice little interesting battle. You can see where everyone is visually. You can't see their sector times or anything, but it all shuffles around. It creates an interesting bit of variation for qualifying. It's not the same formula that you see in the other divisions. Meanwhile, we have been put on board with Mark, and right now he was up at the top, but he's now down into 16th place, so he might jump up the grid in a moment, but we'll see when everyone levels out after the first sector or so. It looks like Rutanius at the moment leading things, although Angel just took over. So we'll go on board with the BWT race lab. Interesting enough, I don't think we have... Well, we do have Mo, and he's just not in the BWT car. I was going to say, I think that might be the first time we haven't seen Mo in the BWT race lab car. But right now it does appear... Oh, Shenjie just flying up to the top there. And a bit of a shuffle around as Neon takes the top spot right now. A bit of a lock-up from Angel here as he comes through turn 7. And I mean P7. He's Customs out. Custom has...
Yeah, he lost it. He lost it on left field, I think. And very bad luck for him. He will start last, it seems, unless a lot of drivers here invalidate, which I think Neon is on that, as he retires as well, so probably damage, as Angel is going on this SS down into Maggots and Beckett's now on the exit. He'll try to put the throttle as soon as possible here on Couple, opening DRS now. Second split 111.0. I really don't know where this can put him at the end of this sector 3. Now on P7, so probably he can climb a little bit of positions here at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Shenjay still at the top of things as we watch Angel come down through the Vale chicane. Now through Club to set the times. There it is, a 136.6 our pole time for Shenjay, 4/10 faster than Mark. He climbed his way back up there. Williams disqualified, presumably for an invalidation somewhere. But we do have our qualifying order. So let's see what we've got in terms. You can see there people being disqualified for invalidating track limits. So 4 points go to Shenjay for pole position on 136.6 in the Uni Virtuosi car. Mark joins him on the front row, 4/10 behind him. Then back row in third, Rutanius on the controller. In fourth place, Eric and Welsh Toast on the third row. And we have Angel and Maka behind them. And then the Emperor and Coffee Sipper round out the top 10. Moen, Ford or Sedan, Psycho, Fabry, Williams, Candle, Custom, Lavelle, Neon, and Shiri round out the rest of the grid with the bottom 6 not setting times here, Alex. So I imagine that's just various invalidations. A couple of them might have crashed, but we'll see what it is. But thank you to everyone for tuning in here on YouTube for the first time. Before we get going racing, a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, then fingers crossed we could get that put in the chat. But obviously there aren't any panels down below. But if you're looking for a sim racing rig, Next Level Racing should be your first port of call. But with that being said, we don't have a formation lap. So once everyone's loaded in, we'll be going straight into racing action. Alex, any predictions for this race?
I think Chenji can probably open that DRS gap very soon. As we saw, he had 0.4 seconds as a margin between him and the other driver on the first row, which was Mark. So I really think Chenji has the pace here, as Neon was invalidating his lap, so it'll start at the back of this grid, and the timer is going down because it's 5 seconds till this session starts.
Yeah, and like I said, no qualifying lap or formation lap. So when we get it, there it is, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Silverstone. And away we go here. Let's see what we've got over the line. It looks like back row Mark. They've exchanged as they come down to sword. So Mark's had a terrible start here in the high tech. He's already down to fourth place. Shenjay holds off back row, who's on a charge. His teammate, Eric, he's up to third already. So a good start for the Uni Virtuosis. A little bit wide, though, as they come down through into village, and behind them there's been a spin. It looks like Welsh Toast might have had a problem. He has, but he's got that turnaround pretty quickly. Mark gets back past Eric, the Uni Virtuosi, slotting back down into fourth. Still one place up away he started. There is a car well and truly off the track. I think it was, I want to say Psycho, but someone went very wide through there. As we've got a lot of cars listening.
Custom is now on the back of this field, as we have some exchanges now on Lovefield Candle on the inside of Maka, but there's a car on just the middle of the track. I think it was Moen who got spun around on Lovefield. Not only him, but Lobel as well on the track. On the exit, on the old entry of the pit lane now, Psycho ahead before Cops on turn 9. But Maka will do the switchback, beautiful switchback. It's understeer for Kandal, who will lose 1 place. Now Maka very close on the back of Fabry, and we have to see because these tires are really different. There's
Angel. Angel's off at Maggots and Beckett's, as we've got the leaders, back row Shenjay, down into Stowe. That's side by side, and it's back row taking lead of things. And what an opening lap we've had.
Oh, they're still side by side. Shenjay will try to put the nose. It doesn't seem like will be enough. Mark on the soft back row. On the soft, it seems like, of course, they are working more. Look at Shenjay having a snap of oversteer there on Club, but it's very close. Mark actually taps the rear, and Neon now will overtake Rutenius because he's falling down this tower. Rutenius had a spin out of the last corner on the soft compound. It doesn't seem like it's bringing him the best grip available, and he will be last with his teammate on. He's now pitting, I guess, for a new wing.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Neon He gets Eric for P4 Lavelle out of this one already. Unfortunately, he's called it quits in the pit lane. Only 15 laps here for these guys. And there is, of course, that mandatory pit stop that they have to serve. Go on to an ulterior set of tyres. But speaking of tyres, let's have a look at what's happened. Also, it's worth noticing, Neon's up 15 places from where he started this race. The soft's really working out for him there. Most people on the hards, it's fair to say, as Williams, he's had a problem. The hard compound tyres for the SMP racing car have cost him there. But yeah, a lot of people on the hards. We've got back row, Mark, Neon on the softs, as well as Moen and Rutanius down in 15th and 17th. But everyone else on this grid, Alex, on the hard compound tyres. And we'll just have to see how that fares. And Shenjie picks up his first penalty of the session. We'll see what sort of implications that has at the end of things. But as we come through Magas and Beckett, it's Welsh Toast, who looked like he was going to try and go side by side with four-door sedan. Hasn't worked out for him. Can Angel find a way past? Not yet. Maybe down into Stowe, though. Back up the front.
Neon will try it in Stowe. Neon on the outside because Mark was very close on Chenzi and had to lift. Actually, the throttle now side by side. Both teammates on the high tech will be a better line, it seems, for Neon. Now on traction, they're side by side. Neon a little bit ahead, will be just slot ahead of the teammate. So right now there's another exchange. I think Zempor had a spin out of club, and now he will have to leave a little bit space for Westo. There's a little bit of contact. Psycho now very fast. He has to take avoiding action out the outside of the last corner, and now Zempor will be losing some spots.
Yeah, meanwhile, four-door sedan looking at the inside of Chiri. Chiri just giving him the space. Might have just caved there. He could have held that line through Village, but he doesn't. And now the cutback through the loop. Four-door sedan on a real charge, and he's ahead as they come on through Aintree and onto the Wellington straight. Behind them, Angel all over the rear of them. Neon, what's happened to him? He is off into the grass. Back down, though, for the fight for P9, and it's Chiri side by side with Angel, and my goodness, they're still going as they come through Brooklands, through Luffield now, and it's a big slide for Chiri, but he's managed to hold it on.
Was good. That side by side between both of them. Angel trying to do the comeback after the spin he had on Chapel. I think it was on first lap. Now Mark very close on Chenzi, but both of them have penalties at the moment. Neon not fighting there because he had a spin, or at least a mid-spin out of Luffield. Now Angel very close on the back of four-door sedan. He will be very, very close on the exit. Seems like a better traction for the BWT, but the Campus Racing car will try to defend this. Will be very difficult. He's vulnerable. He has DRS right now. The BWT on the outside seems like a very easy move for Angel, who now is just behind his teammate.
Yeah, we just watched Chiri there have a big spin, and he almost collected people through Magas and Beckett's, but he did manage to get that car off of the track just in time. So lucky for him, that's not caused any problems, and he shouldn't get reported or anything like that. Psycho, he's had a spin as well in that Carlin, getting that back on track just before the Vale chicane. And we've already got a fairly spread out grid, but a lot of battles here, there, and everywhere. As we're on board now with Mark looking to hunt down Shenjie for P2. Shenjie dropping off a back row since this race has started. The softs right now really carrying back row forward ahead of the Univirtuosi. Four-door sedan. He's lost out to Welsh Toast. There is Arnell spinning. And a side-by-side Welsh Toast and four-door as they come down towards Brooklands at the end of the Wellington straight. And it is Welsh Toast ahead right now. A little bit of tap to the rear from four-door sedan in the Carlin. Not the Carlin, the Campos racing car. But he has lost P9.
Mark's still very close. Seems like the softs are really good on this stage, of course. Oh, Chenzi losing the rear and braking. They're on turn 12. Now he'll have a compromised exit for this hangar straight. Opening DRS, the high-tech driver will go on the inside. It seems like a very easy move. Chenzi losing a spot here on Stowe. It will see him on turn 15. The grip on the soft, it just seems like better, but this seems like a switchback for Chenzi. On the Univirtuosi will try to hold the outside line. A little bit of grass there on the tire, on the front right, it seems, for Chenzi, and he almost loses the car. But now Mark will try to extend that gap between him and Chenzi because he's trying to do the reverse strategy. So probably now he wants to break the DRS. So Chenzi really has to suffer on this first stint.
Yeah, Shenjie, he's really been struggling, like you said, on these hard tires. And well, you just have to look at back row right now. 3.9 seconds ahead of Mark. And that means he's 5 seconds now ahead of Shenjie, who was, in lead of things. He was on pole position. And looks like there might have been a problem down at the back of things here as we see Shuri again going for a little slide. Hasn't spun it though, so still in it here, but early pit stops not really available here at Silverstone because we just get too far back because of how long that pit stop is. Neon, Eric. Neon's still ahead for P4 right now, but Eric looking to try and come back. We'll have to see what sort of tire life we've got in the hards versus the softs, and the undercut is powerful. But I don't know whether we'll see too many people go for it here on the hards, or on the softs, sorry, because they can have to switch to the hards, and you just want to maximize the pace you get out of the softs. But on the hards, I think there's an opportunity there. They just need to make sure that they get the softs to the end of the race when they switch to them.
It seems like the softs still working good, so I won't be thinking about an undercut now. Neon could do one, but I don't know how the hards will be feeling, and the pace of 8. Eric will try to send on the inside of Stone. Neon leaves the space just a little bit there for Eric to put the car, but it's not enough to do the move. Neon holding the outside line, and now it seems like Mark and Backrow, both of them pitting, so it seems like the undercut will be working. Well, at least they are trying to make it work. Now Fabry Flame with 3 seconds time penalty. Neon having a lot of snaps there out of the exit of club. Very unstable car, it seems.
Yeah, and you see that these guys want to use the least stable setup they can to maximize their speed. Rutenius looked like he was having a bit of a problem, but I think that might be as a result of the fact that he's trying it out without traction control here today. A pretty bold move, a hard transition to go from traction control to racing without it. So I think that's been sort of the bane of his existence today. But at the moment, everything's spacing out just a little bit. Let's hop on board with someone who's a little bit closer. Oh no, we've been on board with him a fair bit. Welsh Toast as well on the rear of Fabry Flame. Let's see if he can get a move here. Down into Brooklyn's. He's going to go for a bit of a lunge here in the Charoos. And he's side by side with the BWT race lap, and he's still going and trying to find it around the outside of Luffield. I don't think he's going to get the exit he needs as they come out of Luffield, but he's still here on the outside, just clinging to Fabry Flame here. Is Fabry, though, going to have to back out in terms of the inside line? He's not. They're going to keep going through cops, and you love to see it. That is what we're talking about. The F2 car's just a little bit more lenient in how much you can, go side by side through. Also, Candler, he's just crashed, it would seem. And it's a safety car.
Safety car. Yeah, I think he crashed because the car, there's a static, and this is very good for Neon. Now he has the pit lane open for him. Tenzi as well will pit for the subs. I think they can go to the end. Probably can be a risky bet, but it should be equalized. I don't think anyone will lose that much. Only Backrow, who actually pitted, and Mark as well. They already pitted. Rutinas as well, who actually lost the car on the exit of the pit lane, it seems, because I saw a yellow flag there. So now the leaders will be pitting, but Welsh Toast and Fabry Flame will be staying out, as well as Coffee Sipper.
Yeah, this is good news. I wonder, Eric here, he definitely got double stacked here because of Shenjie coming in as well. And now, let's see what this does for the Univirtuosi car as he backs back out onto the track here. But like you said, a few people just pitted before this one. Came in at an optimum time for Shenjie and Neon. And I think Eric put Neon between himself and Shenjie just to try and reduce the impact that double stack was going to have. But we are under safety car. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, it's the Misfits Formula 2 series. And we're here at Silverstone wrapping up the British Grand Prix action. If you're enjoying the stream, please do hit that like button. It helps us out a ton. And as well, a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, be sure to check them out on their website for all of your sim racing rig needs. But Alex, Shenjie on these softs now. We've got, 8 laps to go.
I think
can he make them to the end?
I think he can go to the end. It doesn't seem like the sub were suffering a lot, the sub runner there on the first stint. And now I have I really think I would do the same of him, but it seems like the top 5 didn't do that, as well as Angel. They were staying on those hards. Cherry as well, Williams as well, staying on the first stint they had on this race, and I think that can be a mistake. From here, I don't know the wear of these tires on the hard, and on the softs, of course, which is more important. But I think it's a mistake staying out because this, as you said before, this pit lane is so long, and even more on the F2 that if they don't take profit of this opportunity of the safety car, they will be losing a lot of time, and probably we will see that on the map later. We will see, I think, two pockets of drivers: the one who pitted on the safety car and the ones who didn't.
And Custom, well, he's coming into the pit lane now, so maybe he wasn't confident in the fact that the softs would make it to the end for 8 laps, but maybe 7 laps he thinks is the limit. So here we are. Into the pit lane he comes. He's going for the softs, of course, but he's going to be chucked out right at the back of the order here, pretty much. He might get out ahead of a few people, including Williams, who's come into the pit behind him. Also, assuming he's thinking along a similar vein of thought. But these soft tyres, if they can make it to the end, they're preserved under the safety car a little bit. They're not immune to wear under the safety car, but they do get worn less. So I want to know where Shenjo finishes here, because he right now, he's had the slow run. He's had the hards. Now ahead of him, we've got people on those hard tyres that he's just got off of. And I think he's just going to breeze through this traffic. He just needs to be a little bit patient. Make sure he executes the moves exactly when he needs to, when he knows he can. And this win is in his grasp. He just needs to get these tyres to the end of this race. Neon behind him is obviously his biggest threat, but the tyre difference is swapped. Neon's now on the hard compound rather than the soft, so the tyre advantage is in Shenjay's favour, and obviously it's also Tier 1 versus Tier 2 driver, but that doesn't mean a lot, Alex, we've seen in these F2 cars.
It doesn't mean a lot, but it can be meaning a fact that is the Shenjay has 3-second time penalty more than Neon, so he needs to do important things, be patient, really taking profit of those softs now that he can have the grip at the optimal, and not having more penalties, as well as open that gap that he needs to win this race. So at the moment we're waiting for Williams still, so I think will be one more lap of safety car. That could be very good for the soft runners, and probably these top 4 runners probably regretting now of not pitting before.
Yeah, Aaron, we'll see how that plays out. Safety car's going around again. It's waiting.
I tell ya, they were really regretting about that, and 3 of them will be pitting. Coffee Sipper 5-second time penalty for spinning on the pit lane. They will be last, but still they will be on the pack. That's important, because otherwise, when you pit without the safety car, well, it really can mess your strategy, and you will be probably 30 seconds behind the last driver on that group.
Yeah, I wonder if this extends the safety car. I hope not. They shouldn't be too far behind, and they should be able to catch up as well. So fingers crossed this doesn't extend the safety car for another lap, and we get back to that green flag racing, because when you do get a safety car around a track like this, it's a long lap normally. But when you've got a safety car, it just extends that lap, and we don't want to be sitting here for, 5 minutes under safety car conditions. But here we go, these 3 popping out of the pit lane.
Yeah, I think we will be safe. They are already there. Williams will be ahead of them, who pitted, I think, 1 lap before with Custom, if I'm not mistaken. Now Coffee Sipper will still stand 4-door sedan, lining up these final spots. A Candle second level, not that good luck having a DNF already, and there's exchange between Neon and Shinji, I think, on their safety car.
We're not quite sure. Shinji's managed to get ahead there in the Uni Virtuosi, but well, Leon's just warming his tyres, wiggling that wheel. Maybe he knows he's on stream. But yeah, Shenji is now ahead of the high-tech, and we saw it today. The impacts of overtaking under a safety car, it's not allowed, but there it is. Shenji up into P2. And on those soft tyres, that could be a very, very dangerous position. It looks like Neon. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it then around the outside of Maggots, but he's not going to go for it. So I think
he needs to wait. Needs to wait till the softs go really reach the cliff, but I don't think that will be happening. So I think Chenzi is in a good strategy. He only needs to clear Fabry Flame, who will be leading safety car restart now, just ahead of him. Just clear the traffic and then extend that gap. Probably pray that Fabry probably defends a little bit harsher to Neon than on Chenji. So now I think probably Fabri will be releasing this grid. It seems like still not. They will be waiting for the last corner. Actually, Chenji taps the rear, I think. So probably we'll see a penalty there on Chenji. Now it's green flag racing for the BWT and all of this grid. And look at Angel. Angel is very close on Neon. He will not try it now.
Yeah, sure, he had a problem on the restart already, spinning, having a problem there, but here goes Shenji up the inside, the soft tires doing their job. Neon just barging up the inside of Fabri, and he's found space somehow. Now Fabri's teammate, the other BWT race lab car, maybe was there to have a look at him, didn't go for it. Is staying behind his teammate for now. Eric right now, what a run he's got in the Prima Motorsport of Maka, someone we haven't really talked about today, but he's a consistent driver here in the F2 series. But there goes Eric, and behind them you can see the Emperor just dropping like a stone after spinning over the track. As Fabri Flame, he's dropping, he's into the gravel trap, a little bit forced one, and you got Mark there and Eric side by side coming through. There's a lot of space on this track for these F2 cars. Not the same can be said for the F1 cars, but here you can squeeze these cars through, and it makes it such exciting action in a different discipline. And I think everything's calmed down.
Eric. He was on 8th. He overtook Maka, then he took Fabri and Mark. Now he's up into P5, and with soft compound, he does the same strategy than Chenji now on the slipstream of Backrow. He'll try the move as well as Backrow is trying it on Angel. So at the moment, Backrow will try it on Stowe. Eric is very close. This can be massive. He will try the outside line. The Univertuosi now the switch back. More grip on those fronts and the rears. He will try it on Bale. He will try it on Bale. Very, very close on the back of Backrow. Backrow will break later. He will try to do a better exit there.
Yeah, Fabri Flame, interesting enough, comes into the pit lane now. I don't know if he got damage or anything, but surely would have come into the pits under that safety car. That would have been when I think most people would have implied that the pit lane was the most optimal. Coffee Sipper, someone who did take advantage of that safety car very late, though. Deruvalus Carlin car, he has a look up the inside of it, and now he's gone for a late move. He went for it. Then he didn't, and then he decided he was going to go for it again when the door was just a little bit too close. I think he needed to exercise a little bit more caution, a little bit more patience, but he's fairly new to the MRL, so he hasn't caused the crash here. He saved himself, and he hasn't even lost the position. Four-door sedan, though, looking hungry to change that, though, as they come together a little bit of four-door sedan spinning as they come out of Brooklands. It's not what you want to be doing. We'll
he went too hot there on the side of Coffee Sipper, I think it was. He tried the move, but it doesn't seem like he put the car stopped before the overtake. So now he will suffer the consequences. Bad luck for him. Now down into P14. A lot of penalties now showing. I think Eric was one of them, as well as Williams. Eric up into P5, really trying to catch back row. He actually tried it on turn 4 on the loop, trying to do the inside line and almost taking it, but Backrow left the space and had a better exit. Now Coffee Sipper on the back of Williams will try with Slipstream. No DRS yet.
Backrow, he's exchanged with Angel, and Angel, well, he's into the pits though, that's why. We'll go back to Coffee Sipper Williams, like you were saying. And pit stop still coming through. Angel now into the pits from fairly high up in this grid, but you can see now the Silverstone pit lane just dropping him into the back of this grid. And here are the drivers who did pit at the late stage of that safety car. So even that late into the safety car, it still benefited these guys here massively as they come down into Village. And Coffee Sipper Welsh Toast side by side. He's trying. Oh, there was a little bit of a squeeze there, and Welsh Toast almost hit his teammate in the other shoes. The Emperor now looking for Coffee Sipper. He's defended from one Shrews. Can he defend from the other? As they come down into Brooklands now. There's no exchange so far. Coffee Sipper, though, a little bit shaky on the exit of Lovefield. He's gone wide. He's into the curb, but kicking up a little bit of gravel on the outside. As the Emperor finding just enough space on the inside of Woodcote to give him the run down towards Cops that he needs. Coffee Sipper just wide through Cops, just letting him through. And the Emperor, what a move to take P10 away from the Carlin.
Now up into the points. Now Coffee Sipper, another 3-second time penalty that will cost him a lot. Now Wellstoast seems like he had a better SS out of Chapel than Coffee Sipper. Exchange between Eric and Backrow for the podium. Backrow went wide. What happened to him?
Well, he spun here, it would seem, coming out of Stowe, and I'm not sure if he was hit again as he was getting that, you know, as he was during that spin. Rutanius, Moen teammates in tier 3. They've exchanged Moen here in the dams. Ahead now of Rutanius, who is still, you know, recovering from a few earlier spins. He's not using any traction control. And we'll see whether he can continue going with the pace he's got right now. 2/10 off of his tier 3 teammate right now as they come through. And into the loop they go. No answer to Moen's overtake yet. It just seems to be struggling.
Backrow, it seems like he wants to catch after that mistake out of Stowe. Really close opening DRS. He won't go for a move on Brooklands. Probably he will try later. Now Coffee Sipper, I think he had a mistake or not. They're almost 3 wide there. Now on Brooklands as well. Wellstoast overtook him, and I think the Emperor as well was one of the big teams for Wellstoast, so his teammate overtook him. Now Coffee Sipper will stay on P11, but still Wellstoast, what a good recovery from that. Now trying to push because he's on DRS of Williams, but almost losing it.
You gotta be careful on this track that you don't have, you know, one of these spins. There's so many corners where it's easy as the Emperor's getting just all over the gearbox of Coffee Sipper through Maggots and Beckett's. Can he find the run he needs down into Stowe as they come out of Maggots and Beckett's now?
Agro will try it on the inside of Ruchenio, side by side, but he will leave the space, not enough for Backrow to jump there on the inside. Now a lot of battle between Williams and Wellstoast, who just cuts DRS, and now will catch Williams on the braking zone of Bale. Williams leaves the space open. Now Wellstoast seems like a better exit, better line there on the outside of the chicane. Up into Club, he's up into P9 as well, and he's on the subs and really pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brilliant racing coming out as we're in the closing stages now of the race. Rutanius, he's having a look up the inside of Moen. He's not finding it through Village. Can he get the switch back through the loop? Moen's just parking it on the apex. You can see Rutanius has got speed to give, but there's Backrow squeezing up the inside. He doesn't find it. He's actually backed out a fair amount, and now Rutanius with DRS will storm past Moen here on the penultimate lap of this British Grand Prix. And you've got to say that's an impressive move from him. Williams, he's under threat from Coffee Sipper. Coffee Sipper into P10 is looking to hold back the S&P Racing car. And, well, you've got the Emperor all over the rear of this as well. But he's not on the rear of it now. He's up the inside of Williams looking for P11. A little bit of a tap between the two of them. The teammates are having a little fight, and it's ended poorly for the Emperor. That is not how you want to be going out here. He's just off into that wall there. Williams. Oh, and he's done a similar thing. The S&P Racing car goes sliding off through Maggots. And into the gravel trap he goes. That is so unfortunate. Maka, Mark, they're exchanging for P4. Mark right now leading as they come out of Stowe and down into the Vale chicane, Alex.
This is massive for Maka. Maka was on the reins with Eric. Eric has 3-second time penalty. Maka was 2.8, but now with this move of
I had
Mark,
to interrupt, but Backrow. He's got caught there. He's managed to get that turnaround pretty quickly, but he's lost a lot of positions through the Vale chicane. And I think actually Rutanius, he went off as well as a result of that collision. It's all crumbling down for some of these drivers in this final couple of laps. Shenche leading things, 4.4 seconds on the final lap, and his tires are still going.
Yeah, it seems like the gap is increasing. 6-second time penalty for him, as well as for Neon. Eric on 3 and Mark on 6. Maka half a second behind without penalties, as well as Moen. But the thing was the Maka was trying to hold that gap with Eric for the podium, and now Mark overtook him and did a major favor for Eric as Coffee Sippers losing 2 places on the Wellington straight. Seems like Backrow and further stand with better pace. Probably Coffee Sipper with some part of damage on that front end.
Yeah, I can't tell, but there might be a left end plate missing off of that Carling car. We need a better camera angle to have a look. Oh, no, it is still there. So if he's got damage, it's not major. But it would seem Custom having a little bit of problem in that final sector. Yellow flag being thrown up there. But meanwhile, also in the final sector, Shenjie. Well, this Univirtuosi, he's been on fire since the start. He was a little bit slow on those hard compound tires compared to his rivals on the hards. On the soft, sorry, but you've got to expect that. But Shenjie wins here in Silverstone for race 1 of 2. The feature race, we'll have a sprint race in just a moment. Neon crosses the line in second. Eric, the other Univirtuosi, a 1-3 for the team as Mark crosses fourth as well. But Maka gets P4 on penalties.
2 tenths away of the podium.
Moen crosses sixth. It looks like Welsh Toast completely misjudged his exit of the final corner there for 7th. Back row finishes 8th. Four-door Sedan, he gets 9th. Coffee Sipper finishes the points in 10th. His fellow countryman, Rutanius, he's going to come home in 11th. Sour luck for him in this race. The Emperor, he jumps into the points. No penalties for him. Put him ahead of Coffee Sipper and Rutanius, respectively. Well, he'll be chuffed with that one. Then we've got Angel, Fabry Flame, the two BWT cars, Williams, Cherry, and Custom, the other finishers in this one. Well, Cherry and Custom still have to make it to the finish line. Candle, Psycho, Lavelle not making it to the end of this one. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have a sprint race. It'll be shorter than this one. No mandatory tire change, no mandatory pit stop. And the top 8 will be reversed. So the grid you see here is going to be the starting grid. So it will be back row on pole ahead of Welsh Toast. Then Moen, Mark, Maka, Eric, Neon, and Shenjie ahead of Four-door Sedan, The Emperor. And then everyone outside of that top 10. Custom picking up a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. I think he's just trying to get to the end as fast as he possibly can there.
Yeah, Tensei on B8 will be starting. That really can be interesting. We'll see the start. These drivers will try to select the hard compound, I guess, and that side, it seems like it's difficult to manage. It seems like construction, it's actually very difficult, so we will see if they can keep it clean without spins there on the first stages of this race.
Well, there we go. Shenjie picking up P1 after a very, very impressive drive. Neon, the more popular strategy not working out for the Dutchman and Shenjie's teammate, the other Univirtuosi driver there, if I'm not wrong, it was Eric coming home in P3. So a strong standing for the team there, but obviously the F2, it's all about the drivers here. It's a community event. If anyone who in the Discord wants to join in, they can. They just need to sign up in the channel. But it's Shenjie who wins this race, but possibly more impressively, Neon from 19th on this grid, Alex, comes home to pick up P2. Eric in P3 from 5th on the grid. Then we have Maka, Mark, Moen, Welsh Toast, and back row. They will be reversed. That is the top 8. And then outside of them, Four-door Sedan and the Emperor picking up points.
I forgot, but the next race will be on inserts. Not inserts because we don't have inserts, but it will be wet conditions, so it's up to the game if we have wet tires or dry tires on a wet surface. So that can be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in. This is our first ever time streaming to YouTube, so it'll be a huge help if you just whack that like button if you're enjoying the stream. It helps us out a ton. And also a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, be sure to check them out on their website for all your sim racing rig needs. But in just a few moments, fingers crossed, we should load into the sprint race here. And Alex, I think it's going to be very exciting. Like you said, it is raining. I think it was light race though. I think it was light race. Light rain. So fingers crossed we get an interesting tyre dynamic, because it might be that the slicks are faster because they only have the full wets available to them. So we'll see how that goes. I think we've just got a slight technical problem with one of the drivers. Fingers crossed they can get back in and the session loads into that sprint race. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us as we try and get this resolved as quickly as possible for our last race around Silverstone of the week. And it's been a very, very strong week of action. But next week, Hungary, very, very different track. Very, very exciting track to be racing on. That turn 1, a huge hotspot for action. Turn 4, pretty tricky to get right. And turn 5 as well, clipping that curb on the inside. Easily able to spin the car there without any possibility of interaction for any other car. But Alex, there might be a need to restart this lobby.
I think we should restart this lobby so all of the drivers that are here on the chat will be listening to me, please. And of course, we will do a reset of the lobby. So hold here because we'll be soon racing for this sprint race. And of course, sorry for the tech issues. We know this game sometimes can happen the things can happen like this with this game. So I will be soon as possible.
Fingers crossed the new lobby can get up and running as quickly as possible. And, you know, we appreciate the MRL community always sticking around when things go wrong like this. It's, you know, nothing we could do, unfortunately. The game just a little bit unstable at times. Fingers crossed the newly announced F1 2021 game is a little bit more stable. But we are getting a new lobby up. So if you are listening in, like Alex said, if you are a driver, do please get yourself into the new lobby as quickly as possible. Because the faster we get it in, the faster we can get that sprint race up and running. I think we might have to do one of those quick sort of 3-lap feature races, which we sometimes see. I don't know if we can avoid doing that, but we've still got the sprint race. So fingers crossed everyone can get back in the car that they were using, or at least a car, and it will work. And we can get that final race of Silverstone for the week well underway. Already the lobby filling up. You love to see the proactiveness and the speed of the drivers getting themselves back in. But it looks like we are just getting everything ready. Here, obviously, we won't be doing the feature race once again. We've already got that done. The classification has already happened. And we just got to get that grid set up for the right stuff. As the feature race, we need to get that out of the way. Sort of thing. And it is, the custom grid takes a little bit of time to get set up. But again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much for your patience. And tell us, you know, what you think of the YouTube stream. A big shout out to everyone who's already liked and is watching along at home. It means a lot. We're trying it out here. A little bit new. We don't have the channel points or anything. But here over on the YouTube, we thought it'd give it a little bit of streaming love, get a little attention. And see how well it works here for the Formula 2 action. And, you know, it's a community event. But we've already got 18 drivers back in the lobby. Fingers crossed we can get those last 2 in before everything else happens. But if not, we may just have to go with a couple of people missing if they don't get themselves back in this lobby for whatever reason. Maybe they were having technical issues which broke that, you know, first lobby. But yes, there is a big delay on the stream, so do bear that in mind when chatting. We are seeing things a lot further in advance than you guys in comparison to what we would see on Twitch. And Alex, will I wait your word on when the lobby is fixed?
Yeah, it will be soon. It will be soon. We have some drivers here. I'll be doing the grid should be reversed. The top 8. We remember that Sensei won on that first race, so we'll be back soon. So just be sure to staying here on the stream, and we appreciate, of course, the patience you guys have, because we really want to have this sprint race, which was settled as a race with wet conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, the new session, if anyone's as planned ahead as, you know, everyone would probably like to be. They may have a wet setup that they could put on the car. Obviously, there's no way for us to determine whether they've changed the setup or not. So fingers crossed, everyone sort of we'll see how. I don't think many people are rolling around with wet F2 setups, but you never know. There might be the odd one or two. But I think most people just have sort of a default Silverstone setup. But it will give them a chance to adjust a little bit of ride height, that kind of thing, in between the two races. I think we've got everyone here now, ready and waiting to go. So once that custom grid is set, but here we are. Once that is all ready, we'll get racing action back underway. And we'll see what we can do in the sprint race. The driver's already putting on a pretty solid show and display in that first one. I think we're moments away. A few drivers already readying up, but I don't think we're ready just yet to get back to that racing action. As soon as they are, the message, if you're a driver listening out, we'll obviously say it here, but also it'll be put in the Discord or the appropriate Discord channel, the Misfits F2 series. But in the meantime, just remain unready until everything's finalized and we've got all the details pinpointed. So we got the right grid. We don't want anyone starting where they shouldn't be, because that would be a little bit of a disaster. And also incredibly unfair on certain drivers who would be starting lower than they are supposed to be. But I think as soon as this custom grid is set, we'll be all ready to go. And it's a fairly short race, the sprint race. It's always a lot shorter than the feature race and around Silverstone. That will probably be fairly huge. And we also have to say that, safety car with the wet weather, not impossible. They can have a huge impact on these sprint races because they're not very long and they don't have a mandatory pit stop either, particularly in the wet weather conditions, obviously. But no mandatory pit stop means that you could just stay out for the entire race. And if the wet compound can make it, which obviously we'll have to see. But as it stands, I don't know if we know if it's full wet or light rain. Alex, I don't know if you can inform us a little bit on that one.
It's wet. It will be wet, so I think it will be enough for those conditions. Now I think we should be ready, as I will put myself as a spectator. So I think we should be ready now.
Well, here we go then. We have got 20 drivers are ready to go. A 25% sprint race here in Silverstone. Again, a big shout out to everyone for sticking around. Apologies for the technical issues. Like I said, fingers crossed Codemasters get a few of these things ironed out for when that 2021 game rolls into our Steam libraries and onto your screens at home in about 3 months' time. But until then, F1 2020 is where it's at. We've got 20 drivers ready to go around a 25% race at Britain. It's our last Silverstone race until we move on to Hungary on Tuesday. That'll be back on our Twitch channel as usual. F2, the only one that we switched over to YouTube for the time being. But the countdown timer is on. We've got that custom grid. And there won't be a formation lap. So as soon as we get into that lobby, there'll be racing action from the get-go.
Yeah, no formation lap, 25% race too. Trying to simulate that sprint race. No mandatory pit stop, of course, as is a 25% race on these F2 cars. We'll see rain here on Silverstone. Something common here on this track, right?
Well, there it is. Rain. The great British weather has, appeared here at Silverstone. And we'll see what happens for the drivers. A little bit shorter. It won't be the 15 laps that we saw before, but I think it'll feel like it for the drivers with already the F2 cars. The traction is a little bit you know, lower than it is in the F1 cars. When you add rain into the mix, we already saw it in that first race. A few people spinning, struggling to control that car in the best of the conditions. Now, in the wets, let's see what they can do. 15 seconds until the session gets underway here for the final race around Silverstone this week in the MRL.
Yeah, it seems like my mistake, I have to say. I think I didn't reverse the grid, but still, of course, it's unfair. It's my mistake. And well, as it's an exhibition race, I hope we have an exhibition race here as the lights are just off. We will have Chenze again on pole now as he won, but the racing will be here as it seems like he had a bad traction. Eric will be fully ahead now on turn 1. So Chenze, oh, we have a spin. We have a spin already.
Yeah, already off into the off track there for Shenche. Very, very unfortunate for him. And who is that? It looks like someone else found themselves going off into the wall as well. It's still Shenche down at the back. I think he's had a very, very poor start. Neon up at the front. Moen in P2. And let's see everyone else. There's a big, big problem for Lavelle as he spins and hits the wall. Candle already out of this one. There's been a big incident. You can see there his car just absolutely obliterated at the side of the track. Just 7 laps here to go in the sprint race. You can see a complete wreck in the background there. But back up at the front of things, Welsh Toast very tight to the rear of Mark, and he's found a way through around the outside of Woodcote. Well, the inside, sorry. And he's looking to try and hold it on. Mark in P4. He's got back row coming up. His inside and Compton has been contact. He's caught him. Both drivers into the pit exit, the old pit exit, I should say. And they both rejoin side by side onto the track.
Massive. Massive on this racing on the beginning. We have a lot of close gaps now. Maka will try to move on Angel as Sensei has another problem there on Luffield. But very close gaps, as I said. Wellstones as well. There's a lot of battling. And now we'll try Maka on the outside of Angel on Stowe. We will see if he has the grip to do it. But Wellstones and Moen have an exchange there for putting positions. 5 places gained on the start of the race for Wellstones. But at the moment, Maka will try on the inside of Bale. Very tight chicane. Now Angel with a better line on the exit. Oh, very clean racing from them now. Rutinos as well losing a place with the Emperor.
Yeah, these guys fighting out of Stowe, and it's been a lot of positions changed. Psycho's up 11 from where he is, like the biggest climber right now, and Eric down 11. Shenje the biggest loser though, with 18 places lost from pole all the way down to 19. The Emperor, Moen still side by side. Moen doing a valiant job to try and defend where he started, but there's so many cars behind him. You can see Rutenius, the Emperor side by side with Arnell all over the rear of them. They're all just bouncing around. Everyone's on these wet compound tires. It's the Emperor off. Rutenius taps from the rear, and well, there he is off into the track as same as his teammate was just a few laps ago. Maka, Arnell, they're side by side. The Prima Motorsport on the inside of the BWT, switching around as they go to the outside of Luffield, and I think that's going to give Arnell just the line he needs to just get away from that Prima Motorsport. The Campos of four-door sedan just behind him. Can he find a way past? As ahead of them, you can see the Emperor all over the rear of Moen, but it is still Maka clinging on to P6.
Oh, who's that? I think it was Custom. What a big snap of oversteer now on the all pit entry, as we have an exchange on the podium. Things Emperor and Moen, they're side by side there on the S's. Oh, Emperor now a better exit. Moen will struggle a little bit on traction on the wet conditions. Now down into P4, but it's still very close on the slipstream. Is on this hanger straight. We'll try on the outside as Maka did before on lap 1. Oh, this can be very close, Unicorn.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of tight battling, and to be honest, not as many spins, slips and spills as I was expecting after that first race, but I spoke too soon. The Emperor, big slide, very sideways through the Vale chicane, and I'm not sure there if he's collected anyone else, but Moen, Arnell, they made it through. Maka looking at the inside of club to Moen as they come onto the Hamilton straight. Is he going to find a place? He's not. Coffee Super Psychos, the Emperor's out as he called it quit in the pit lane. He hasn't. Has he crashed? Or is that a retirement on track? Fingers crossed. It's not. I'm not actually sure. And we've got a yellow flag here, there, and everywhere. That car's been got rid of. Psycho, maybe. He's had a problem. A big chunk of damage on that car coming down into village. Just there, Lavelle coming past as he gets out of the way of the racing line.
That is massive. Now a lot of action there on the front. Maca very close on Moen, as well as him on Angel, who I think he the BW2 driver overtook him on the lap before on Club, as he was side by side. Now Rutinos and Lovell as well exchanged in position. Both teammates really on the back part of this grid, as Rutinos now will try on the outside of Psycho, who I think has damage on that front end. Oh, that's very good racing from them. Of course, Psycho with more issues and Rutinos with better traction there outside of Lowfield and now in Woodcote. Very close battling as he has damage, and you can see it. He goes really wide and understeering into Cobbs. That will cost him a position, and he was doing a very good start. He was 7 places up.
Yeah, Moen right now, he's struggling to just retain these places. I think he started P2, I want to say, in this race, but he's dropping now as he's just been passed by Maca. Mark on the rear of him too, looking to try and find a way past, but it's just further behind the Dutchman. Coffee Sipper looking for a way around four-door sedan, and on the outside of the second corner of the Vale chicane, as he found it. You've got to say that's an impressive piece of driving. It hasn't been so fortunate for four-door sedan. It looks like he had some sort of problem coming out of that chicane. I don't know if there was contact. It didn't look like it, but that's not to say there wasn't any. Shuri, Eric, they exchange a little bit. Not too much of a dramatic race there. Shenjie, he's going to get in position as Psycho retires in the pit lane. Lavelle, he gets past. It looks like Williams has had a problem. No, is it Rutanius? Yeah, Rutanius. He's had a spin on the Hamilton straight.
Now Maca closing the gap on Angel, as well as, well, Moen having some issues with Mark, as Mark is really closing that gap. Lap 4 of 7. Neon is leading well to the second, and Angel, after a very good start, is now up in, well, it's 10 places now in the podium. So he's really trying to push on these wet conditions. Mark really gaining on traction.
Yeah, nice driving from him. Moen just, sometimes you see it, he gets those sort of low point scoring positions, starts fairly high up in the sprint race, and then just sort of drops a little bit afterwards. But right now, still in P5. Eric, four-door sedan, they've exchanged four-door with a bit of damage. The right end plate missing off of that car. We'll see if he drops any further, because he's got Shiri all over his gearbox. Meanwhile, like you said, Mark, well, he was side by side with Moen, but now Moen is side by side with the wall. And, well, now he's just donked his nose straight into it. Out of Maggots and Beckett's. Four-door sedan, Shiri. Well, the exchange has been made. And four-door sedan, well, he's going to have a little look up the inside of Stowe, but with that damage, can't imagine that he's going to want to try anything there, or at least he shouldn't try anything there. Lavelle, he comes past Moen. Moen, no damage, despite that incident. At least no visible damage. He could still have, you know, about 10% worth of that downforce reduced on that Carlin car. He might have a little look up in the Vale chicane here on Lavelle. He's not going to find it. Remember, this isn't even for points, because only the top 8 score points in the sprint race here. And obviously, we won't have the complete points tally for the weekend here in the game. But if you're looking for that, you should probably be able to find that in the Discord, hopefully, as they get calculated. Because that is where everything like that, post-race analysis, stewards, inquiries, that kind of thing, is all dealt with. So if you're not in there already, make sure you do get yourself in our Discord. It's an amazing community of like-minded racers. But as we come into, well, we're on lap 5 of 7, Alex. Halfway through it. Neon almost on that penultimate lap. It's been a very interesting sprint race so far. Yeah,
he's been on a very comfortable gap within 3 seconds between him and Wellstoast. As we saw on his change, I think Rutinis was going to the pits now on lap 5. So very bad luck for him, for the Dutch driver. Now for the sedan, still very close on Cherry, as well as Cherry is on Eric. Eric lost 4 places on this start after being first on turn 1.
Yeah, we'll see what happens now as we're coming on to that penultimate lap. Everyone's sort of spacing themselves out. Silverstone in the dry. It can be tricky to overtake, but we've seen plenty of overtaking action here so far today in that feature race, but the wet racing just making it a little bit more difficult for everyone to go side by side. It looks like Shenjay, another issue for the Univirtuosi car. And, well, he was so strong, Alex, in the dry, but here in the wet, the F2 cars have just gotten the best of him. And he's such a fast driver. We know that. Tier 1 champion last season, but we said it before earlier. Doesn't necessarily make you fast in F2. It's a completely different beast.
He is. He actually is. He's the reigning Tier 1 champion of Season 3, and now probably suffering a little bit on this F2, but well, I can't blame him. They're really difficult to really drive, and now on these conditions, well, even more. As you can see, he's not the only one who had issues here on this race moment. Now going to the pits after probably having some contact, but the same thing. It seems like the race is being calmed down now. Lap 6 of 7, Neon leading even more, and Maka going for a podium because Angel now has a 3-second time penalty, and it seems like he can do the move.
Yeah, Maka's up 10 places from where he started here, which is an incredible job. There's a lot of people with some big, positional gains. You've got Angel up 10. You've got Shiri up 8. Louvel up 9. So some really great drives out there, and a lot of people who actually held on to where they started this race, namely Neon, in that pole position, and you got Maka, Mark, and Four-Door Sedan, who have all held stations. So, nice stuff from them as well. That consistency, very impressive. As Neon now is coming through the Vale Chicane and Club for the second to last time. He says the fastest lap of the race as well. Maybe that track is trying out a little bit as that high tech goes fastest. But he's been leading at the front, so I'm not surprised that it's him with the purple lap to his name. Shiri, can he catch Eric before this race ends out? Has the Univirtuosi got any damage on it? There's a yellow flag being shown. I think that might be for... Well, actually, I don't know what that is for. It's not a back marker. It's Maka on the rear of Welsh Toast. And is there a position here? Welsh Toast has had an issue here, Alex, because he was in P2. By quite a margin, he's not anymore. Now, Maka, it could be on for P2 instead of P3 because they're still both within that 3-second window of Angel.
Ooh, Angel had a big issue.
Angel's crashed. Where's his car? His car's miles off coming out of Aintree. Can't even see it that well. There it is on the right-hand side. Angel's out. And this opens up P2 again for Welsh Toast, unless Maka can find his way past on his final lap. I didn't even see it. I didn't see his car go off there. I was looking around for his car, and then he just drops completely off, and he's out of the race. So, no safety car given that we're on lap 7. But, well, now this makes it look like an even more dominant drive for Neon. In 7 laps, he's established a 17.8-second lead. But it's all about this battle for P2. Who's going to win it? You've got Welsh Toast here defending the position right now. Maka. But then you've got Mark as well, who's just joined the party on rear of this. And, well, no penalties for any of them right now. But here goes Maka. He's got a nice run in that Prima Motorsport car. Up the inside he goes. Welsh Toast drops down to 3rd place. They need to be careful that they don't allow Mark through here. Neon wins things here at Silverstone. Maka in front in P2. Here goes Mark around the outside of the Vale Chicane. Is Welsh Toast gonna lose 2 positions in 1 lap? It looks like he will as they come out of club for the final time. It's Maka who takes P2 here in Silverstone, and Mark finishes in 3rd. Welsh Toast just finds the wall. He's just got squeezed to the outside there. Coffee Sipper gets P5. Eric, well, he started this race in 3rd, but still not a bad result for him in 6th. But I think Shiri will get him on penalties. He does. Four-Door Sedan, he does get Eric as well. So Eric drops all the way down to 8th place. Lavelle, well, he's up 10 places. He started last. He finished last time with an early retirement. This time, he finds a P9. Fabry Flame picks up P10. Shenjay, well, from pole position, he won the last race. It hasn't happened for him here. He was in 11th, but he's had another issue through Maggots and Beckett's. He's still sliding all over the place. And Williams now might be able to take P11. We don't know what those penalties are looking like. Moen's all the way down in 13th. It's not been a good race for him. Rutanius finishes a lap down. So he has actually finished this race. But let's see what we got. Williams in 11th. He will cross ahead of Shenjie, provided the S&P Racing Car gets everything right through the Vale chicane and club here. And he does.
Shenjie had a spin out of turn 17. It seems like too hard on the brakes and losing the rear. As you can see, his drifting is really difficult to put the throttle down. And probably, well, of course, overheated tires on the rear as well can really be an important fact here. But he really trying to do his way to the line. P12 for him after winning the main race, as Moen as well has a mistake. Well, I don't think it's a mistake as he's going full throttle, but
I think he's trying some donuts there.
I'm not really sure.
I think he's doing a little donut there. He knows the camera's going to be on him with the last person crossing the line, and there he goes. P13 for Moen. But there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up Misfits F2 action. Obviously, Lavelle, there we go, picks up driver of the day from last place on the grid to 10th. What a drive from him. No points, though, unfortunately, for him there. But here we are on the podium. Memory says that is a Neon picking up P1. Nicely done from him. And then, you know, we saw Welsh Toast get overtaken by the other two gentlemen up on that podium.
Very lucky for him. He was very up there and having a good race. I think he was skipping not the same pace as Neon, as we know Neon is fast, but really close there. I think it was around 5.6 seconds, and then he had that mistake and really cost the podium to him.
Yeah, absolutely. There is the final classification. Neon in P1 picks up 27 points. Obviously, I think that's just classifying it as everything there. You're getting all the points in one. Maka picks up P2. Mark finishes third. Welsh Toast in fourth. Coffee Sipper gets a top 5 finish. Shiri in 6th. Photo Sedan in 7th. Eric in 8th. Lavelle finishes 9th in the end, so penalties bumped him up a point. Fabry Flame picks up T10. Williams, Shenjie, and Moen, the only other finishers, but I think Angel got qualified and Rutanis finished a lap down as well. Custom, Psycho, and the Emperor, Backrow, and Candle, I think, all failing to finish this one. But that wraps up F2 action. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in here for the first time Misfits Racing League streaming on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who's watched along and also liked the stream as well. We've already got 21 likes, so a big thank you to the support here, guys. It means the world, and, you know, this will be automatically put up on the YouTube instantly, so you don't even have to wait to re-watch the race, or the races, if you so desire. Alex, any closing remarks before we end out the stream with the outro, as always?
I really hope we go racing next week on Hungary, and, well, with the F2s, really can be very fun to watch. So, yeah, very thanks to everyone here on the chat was watching the stream today, and, well, I hope I see you again on Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be back on Tuesday, and it'll be Alex alongside the excellent Striff over on our Twitch channel, as per usual, for the regularly scheduled Tier 3 race around Hungary, kicking it off there. It'll be 8 p.m. BST, 3 p.m. EDT for the Tier 3 race, as well as Tier 2 and Tier 1 at the same time throughout that week, as well as America's APAC. All information for that can be found in our Discord, so make sure you get yourself over there. Also, if you're looking for race replays and highlights, they're all here on the YouTube channel, so make sure you go and have a watch of any of those that take your fancy. And also, a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a racing rig, then be sure to check them out on their website. They're doing brilliant things for the sim racing community, so it would really mean the world if you go and check them out. But with that being said, we're going to round the stream out. Of course, the outro is here on YouTube. We can't raid anyone, but we can play the outro. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of the evening.
We are back. We are back with some Tier 1 action.
And that is the AlphaTauri of Adrian straight head on into the Red Bull. And the Kai Ficini has joined the party, and he's on these medium compound tires in the Merc. Is very late braking from the Ferrari. He locks up and he blocks Zamis. And who is that? That is Jean with a fantastic exit, and he is going to get ahead of both of them here. So I believe it's crossing the line now, checkered flag. Adam and Bajarin, the first two to catch it early. Vettel now rounding the final two turns of 22 and 23 here in Singapore. The Racing Points collect the 1-2. Battery, there goes Ben the Bear now just ahead, taking the checkered flag, coming through the Casio triangle. It's still wheel to wheel between these two. Mick out with a great traction. Oh, what a run out of the chicane, and he gets it done. How's the exit for the Ferrari? Good so far. You can see wheel to wheel coming down the straight into turn 4. It's the Ferrari leading through. Ben, wheel to wheel now with Revo, and he has so much pace in this Racing Point right now. It's wheel to wheel between these two. How's somebody gonna go? He's drifted off. Does the exit? What an exit out of the Williams. Does he get him? There goes a big snap. Looking on the inside of 8 and 9. It's the Mercedes coming around the outside of 9. Does he get this move done on Tim? This is huge. This is absolutely massive. A drag race coming through 10 now, down into 11. Here we go, and Zamis has the popcorn.
So Yukio tries to turn in, and Domi just says,
oh, the Stars.
Just for a second.
What a move from the Stars. That is the Renault of Van Putten up the inside of the Williams into turn 1. Freeware's gonna get Yoda. Freeware's gonna get Yoda.